Chief High Smoke back to you with another one. And this video is sponsored by Don't Bet US. Guys, don't gamble. Save your money. Spend it on your family. Take them out to a nice dinner, a nice vacation. Spend time with them. Don't gamble. These casinos know what they're doing. They make the lines specifically so that you will lose. In this video, I want to get into the Raiders trade a third round pick to the Seattle Seahawks for Geno Smith, quarterback. Last year, Geno Smith completed 70% of his passes, 400 passes out of 578 attempts. Another thing was he was sacked 50 times, and I'm going to get into why I think he was sacked that many times. But first, let's get into the Raider. Geno Smith wasn't the Raiders' first choice. They wanted Matthew Stafford. He ended up staying in Los Angeles. They go out and they get Geno Smith, and I can't hate on this move because there really wasn't a lot of quarterbacks out there. And they get the best available really quarterback, I would say. 21 touchdowns, 15 interceptions last year. Threw a ton of passes, completed a lot of passes too as well. This is a classic pocket quarterback. I thought they would have someone that gets out of the pocket in that Chip Kelly offense, but I think one of the reasons why Smith took a lot of sacks last year is Metcalf and Lockett were out. He's got a lot of trust in those guys, and there was a lot of new faces, new receivers on the Seahawks last year, and I gotta say this name right, or I'll get flagged. Jackson Smith Najigba. And yeah, he was a rookie last year, or it was his second year, I want to say. And he really came into his own. And that's a positive for me that Geno is able to take these rookies and, build them into a solid wide receiver. And Seattle's got a good one over there in Najigba. Metcalf now is going to probably be on the move too as well now that Geno Smith is gone. Do the Raiders go out and make a move for DK Metcalf too as well? That's something to look at. The Seahawks have also released Tyler Lockett, so they're going into full rebuild mode. Look, Geno Smith is the best quarterback the Raiders could get. Not getting Matthew Stafford. This is a top 15 quarterback. The attempts last year, I think he was top 5 in some passing categories. Attempts, completions. He doesn't really scramble much at all. Held on to the football. I think it was 2.78 seconds. And yeah, I think that's a credit to some of his receivers being out and injured. Him having to throw to some new faces. But I like the move. I really like the move of Geno Smith to the Raiders. I think last year the Seahawks went 10-7. They were positive in all their games. One season it was 9-8. I want to say they might have been 8-9 another season. But last year was 10-7, and he did it without Lockett, and Metcalf was out, I want to say, about 8 games. So, Geno Smith coming over to the Raiders, he's never going to throw you out of a football game. This is classic Pete Carroll. He's going to bring people in that play a ton of games. They're durable, and they don't make mistakes. That's the classic Pete Carroll system. And, it's worked for him, and he's bringing his guys in. And now you're kind of looking at, really, the Las Vegas Seahawks. I mean, that's what it's really coming down to right now. I mean, Carroll's going to get a few of his guys that he drafted over in Seattle. You're probably going to see a few more guys sign or maybe get traded to the Raiders. But they got a ton of cap space. They can do a lot of things this offseason. They've already signed Kappa. He's a guard. I don't know if he's going to start or play right or left guard, but, this is a Super Bowl champion and a guy that wanted to play for the Raiders and who is from California. The Raiders were his hometown team. And you're seeing them go out and get players that Carroll's familiar with, and Carroll knows can win in this football league. Geno Smith, the negative on him is he's never won a playoff game. From what I've seen, went 0-1 so far in the playoffs, but he played in a tough division. And the Raiders play in a tough division in the AFC West. Smith came from the NFC West. He had to deal with the 49ers that were constantly in the Super Bowl and in the NFC Championship game. And he's constantly going up against the best, and he's putting up good numbers, and he's winning football games. And what's to say that this can't transition to the AFC? Now I know that he was drafted by the Jets, and he didn't really have a few good years over there. That's really the only negative you could take on it, is he's had trouble in the AFC. The positive is he's 3-2 in the division. He lost once to Kansas City, once to the Chargers. He beat the Chargers, and he's also beat the Broncos twice. So he's positive in his division. Grown up from a lot when he got drafted by the Jets, and was going through that. I want to say he was a first or second round pick out of West Virginia. Really during that draft, from what I remember, is there was talk he was supposed to be the number 1 overall pick. And he really fell off from the bowl games until the draft that year. He fell off big time. And I want to say he was later back in first round, but don't quote me on that. But the Raiders get Geno Smith, and he's just a winner. 21 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. Hopefully he can get back to that 30 touchdown, 9 interception year. But knock on him, 35 years old. This is just going to be, a maybe 1 or 2 year project with Geno Smith and the Raiders. And at 6, do they grab Shedeur Sanders? And, I had done a video on Shedeur Sanders and compared him to Teddy Bridgewater, Geno Smith type of a game. And I think, drafting Shedeur and now having Geno in with similar type of games, you could see something here. Tom Brady worked out with Shedeur in his college days. I know that. So there is some familiarity with Shedeur Sanders and Tom Brady. So Geno Smith's going to be the starter. Let's see what they do in the draft. Do they go Shedeur Sanders, or do they go best player available? Thank you guys for watching.